Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications because I'm here every day for you. Alright, in this lesson I'm going to show you how we map our entities to our view models. First of all, let's get back our controller. If you remember previous lesson, I told you this is not the best practice because we are returning the entities itself as a return. We need to use view models because when it comes to the category or product or the other entities, there is unused and unrelated, how can I say, irrelevant information can be located in the entities, so we need to minimize unwanted properties to the user. So how can we do it? We are going to use view models, but normally to finalize mapping actions, we are using a third library application automapper. But now we're going to create our own mapping codes using reflections to hone our basic fundamental C# skills, guys. Alright, it's going to be a long lesson and it might be a confusing lesson. I will go slowly and step by step to make you understand everything and every detail, okay? So let's start creating our DTO first. This is our category controllers. Let's go our models and create a new folder, view models, okay? Now I'm going to add a new folder for category, view models. Let's add new class, category list view model, add category create view model, and category update view model. Update view model, perfect. All right, let's start with listing one. So normally we have, let's have a look our category. We have three different property here. I only need to see the name. The rest of them I'm not gonna use them. Let's get back here. Perfect. Let's go to category create one. So I don't need the other one. Category update. I need ID as well. Let's copy ID property and paste here. Perfect. That's all for view models. Now all we need to do is map from entity to the view model. Alright, this is the hardest place. Let's create a new folder here. Let's say mapper. Let's create a new class. Class name and folder name is going to be same. Let's change mapper app. Right, let's add class now. Let's say mapper here. And I'm going to create an interface. Interface I mapper. Alright. First of all, let's create our signature. So we need an entity in and entity out. Let's type here entity in, comma, and entity out. Perfect. And these entity in and entity out must be class. So let's add our restriction. Entity in must be class and entity out must be class. Perfect. Now we need to create our signature. So I'm going to give a variable name. But first of all, let's type it void. I'm going to change it later, okay? Let's give a method name, which is map, all right? So I'm going to give variables this method, which is the first one is going to be source, all right? The second one is going to be destination. Perfect. As a parameter, I want my user give a source to me. Request. All right. Perfect. Now I'm going to change return type to destination. All right. Perfect. All done. This is our method signature. Should I add a class or something? Let's leave it like that for now. If we get any error message, we can add another restriction to this source and destinations like entity in and out. So let's continue. Let's go to mapper section now. Now I'm going to give you some variables here. Entity in and entity out. That's inheritance from mapper. Okay. Entity in and entity out. Entity in is going to be class and entity out is going to be class. Let's implement our interface and start typing our method. All right. We are going to check is this source comes from our user, this parameter, is it a collection or just a single entity? All right, let's check this one first. Var is collection. Let's get type or our source. All right. And oops, my bad, sorry. Let's get interfaces. We are using reflection in this section. Let's get interfaces, all right. And if it is a collection, it means if it can be a list, enumerable, it means all the derived class is collection. So we're going to check if there is an interface which is called collection. All right. So to do that, we're going to use any. Okay. We're going to check the name. If it contains collection, it means, guys, it is a kind of list, but we don't know what kind of list is that. It can be enumerable, list, just list, okay, and another collection types. All right, but we know that it is derived from collection. All right, if is collection true, it means this is a kind of list. Perfect. Now we're going to use casting. I'm going to I'm going to show you step by step and slowly to make you understand, guys. Okay, now we're going to cast this source. Let's say an example. Okay, let's say an example. This source is enumerable, for example, category. Okay, so we need to cast this enumerable to collection, and we able to make we able to use this collection to our mapping actions. Okay, let's cast now. Var source list, all right, collection, and we are going to use entity in because this is the source. They are using same entities, all right. entity in. Perfect. Then let's cast our source now. Not you. We're going to cast a request. Perfect. It's done. So we have a green line here. It's telling us it can be null result. I'm going to ignore this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to ignore this message because I'm going to give a request. I'm going to give a class here anyway. All right, let's continue with creating a destination object. All right, let's create one destination object. To do that, we are going to use activator, create instance, and type of destination. All right, this destination must be derived from my collection because the source is derived from my collection, and destination must be derived from collection as well. Let's create our destination list. All right. collection entity out request. Is it no, it's not going to be request destination object this time. All right. And it must be entity out because the destination using entity out, source using entity in, destination use entity out. All right. So we have in our hands a source list and destination list, but destination list is empty. So all we need to do is we're going to get their properties and we're going to match them. If there is a matching types and names, we're going to copy the value from one to the other one. Okay. Let's continue with getting properties. Property type, property info, and these are going to be array. Okay. Entity in properties. Let's say props, or sorry, let's delete this equal props. It must be type of entity in. We're going to get type of entity in. We're going to get type of entity in, and we're going to get properties of entity in this section. To do that, get properties. Perfect. Now we have properties of entity in. Let's do it for entity out. Entity out, get properties. Perfect. Let's move on. Matching section now. So we're going to use for each. All right. Perfect. Now I'm going to create a destination out object. And we're going to fill this object, and after we completed the filling this object, we're going to assign this destination out object to in our destination list because it is expecting us to give an entity out. All right. So activator, create instance and type of destination. This is what we need to do. But before moving on, I'm going to create a list here. Let me open my board in case of you guys not too confused. Okay, let's open my board. So we have here I enumerable category, right? Perfect. So I need to return I sorry list category list v model. Okay, this is my source, this is my destination. All right, so until this section let's have a look what we done here. We get our source list and we cast it to iCollection. Okay, we catch our source and we cast it to iCollection category. All right, then we create a destination type of IEnumerable and we cast it to iCollection. Okay, so we create first. Okay, we create first list category list DTO, but we can't match iCollection to the list. We cast it to the iCollection category list DTO. Perfect. Let's continue. So we get the property info from our entity in and out. Let's continue. So our entity in category, entity out is category list v model, right? So I type here DTO, is ignore it. This is going to be v model, by the way. It's my fault. Can I delete them? Yeah, perfect. Let's type them v model. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to get properties. Properties of entity in. All right. Just type here properties. Just type like this. Okay, we get the properties and we get the properties of category list v model. Not you, sorry. Perfect. All right, now we're going to use for each to touch every entity in our source list. Now let's say we have two category. Let's say electronics and households. Okay, we have two different category here. Now we're going to use for each. Var category in categories. Alright, so we're going to catch these electronics and households here, and now we're going to get action. We are here right now. Okay, so we create an entity out. Now we need to create a. Alright, let's use this one as well. We need to create an entity out, which is category list v model, which is now empty, We didn't add anything, okay? And this is empty as well. All right, both of these empty. Once we match the information, we're going to add this category list view model to the iCollection category list view model, step by step. All right, let's get back here. Now, let's continue, create another for each. All right, let's say entity out, entity out in entity out properties. Okay, var property. This property, guys, must be exactly same specification both entity in and out. So I'm going to get entity in properties. I'm going to check all property located in entity in, all right, in the section category. All right, select the first or default one, and it must be name exactly the same, comes from entity out. All right, entity out name, and name is not enough, the property type has to be same as well. All right, the entity the property type must be same with the entity out property type. All right, perfect. All right, if if let's have a look what kind of result we have. It returns property info. All right, guys, if this property info not null, it means we have a matching object in our hands, right? So let's create a value here. Okay, create a value here. Property dot get value. Now we are going to get the value. All right, from where is my entity? Yeah, we're going to get this value from entity. Let me have a look. Yeah, actually I'm gonna change the name entity in. It's going to be better, you can understand. Okay, let's paste here. Okay, get value from entity in. Now we get entity in of property value. All right, now let's assign it to the our entity out. Entity out dot set value. Okay, set value. All right, now we're going to let me have a look. This is the object entity out. We get value of entity in. Yeah, everything is same. Entity out set value. Okay, this is our entity out property. We're going to set the value comes from our entity in. Okay, destination must be destination out. Yeah, this is the destination out object. Here we go. This is our entity out. This is our object. We're going to give the object first, and this is the value. This is the value we need to pass the property. Perfect. All right, let's get back our table and I will explain you step by step one more time. Okay, so we created our category list view model, which is empty. Okay, now we are moving with another for each. Okay, let's add another for each. And this time, in this for each, we are going to var category list view model in let me see, this is my I collection, right? I'm gonna copy this text. Okay, I'm going to properties, by the way. Okay, I'm going to touch every properties in category list view model. Okay, and now we're going to check it is matching or not. Let's say bool, or no, let's say property if this category list view model information equal this category information. These are properties, by the way, guys. Do not forget it. Okay, these are properties. This is the props as well. These are all properties. Okay. Let's delete this one. I don't want you make confused. These category list view model property. This is the property list. These are the property list. Perfect. If they are equal, all right, we're going to, if they are equal, okay, we're going to match category list view model prop category prop. This is basically what we done here. All right, let's get back our coding section. Once we map all objects using for each, now we're going to add these objects to our list, right? Let's get back here. I guess we need to add it here. Now we have a destination list. Going to use add. We're going to add our destination out object. Destination out object. So we have an error here. Let's have a look. What is the problem here right now? It is require entity out, right? And this is object. We need to cast it to the entity out. Okay, let's cast this object to the entity out then. Perfect. And it is warning us it can be null. I'm going to just ignore it. All right. All right. As a return, we're going to return a destination. So this is destination list. Let's return destination list. Why we have an error? Let's have a look. Destination is I collection entity out. Destination is just destination. All right. Let me think a little bit. All right, we need to cast this, I guess, destination list to the destination. Now it will be okay. Perfect. Because the return type is destination. All right. And if destination I list or I enumerable, our destination list is I collection, we're going to cast is to the destination type. All right, let's continue with the if it's not is collection. I know this is a little bit complicated, but it is really bad, how can I say, good example to get used to using reflections. All right. Okay, if it's not S collection, it means this is just a single entity, so it is little bit more easy. First of all, we're going to get property info. I'm not copy and paste. I'm gonna type step by step again. Okay, let's get the property info of each entity. Property info. All right. Source properties. Type of source and get properties. Okay. Property info. Destination. Properties. Type of destination. Get properties. Perfect. Now we have all properties comes from source and destination. All we need to do, match those properties. If there is a match, we're going to assign the value and it's all done. Var destination. First of all, we're going to create a destination object. Activator. Create instance, type of destination. Alright, the destination object has been created. Let's use for each and let's touch every property comes from destination objects. Okay, let's say property out in destination properties. Okay, now we're going to use another for each for source properties. For each property in source properties. Now we're going to match all of them step by step. If destination, no, not this, sorry. If property out dot name equal property in name, and same as before, guys, remember property out dot property type property in dot property type, then this is our object. Okay, then we can copy and paste our value from one to the other property, from property in to the property out. Let's get our value. All right, we're going to get source property, no, sorry, property out, get value. The object is, let me have a look, our object is source. Yeah, comes from, yeah, request comes from our source. Perfect. We get our value from property, not property out, it must be property in, it's my fault. Property in. Okay, so we get our value from our property in. The object is request, comes from our source. Now we're going to copy this value to the property out. Property out dot set value. All right, the object is destination. We just created outside for each loops, and the value comes from our property in. Perfect. We set our value as well. All we need to do is get out or for each and return our destination. But the problem is the destination is object. We need to cast this to the destination. Perfect. And I'm going to ignore error message. All right. Hopefully our mapping section will work. Let's try to add this mapping in our controller and let's see is it going to work or not. First of all, we received our category, right? Okay, let's add our mapping class and interface to our service container. Let's go our extension methods. Where is our extension? Services dot add scope and type of, oops, not you, type of imapper, and I'm going to put a comma because there is two different variable it's looking for, and type of mapper, put comma. Perfect. Now we register our interface and class to our service container. Now I'm going to call them with constructor I mapper. All right, it is asking us an entity in and out. Okay, now I'm going to use for listing methods. Entity in is category and entity out is category list vModel. Let's add our namespace. Perfect. Let's say list mapper. Generate construct, no, add parameters. Perfect. By the way, in your person project, we are not gonna use this mapping, handmade mapping, guys. I'm just doing this mapping classes and interface to show you how we able to use reflection. It's better to practice in this basic tutorial MVC project. All right, let's continue. Get all categories. Var, oops, mapped category list. Now I'm going to call my list mapper. Here we go, our map method, and it is asking us a source. The source class is going to be a category. Yeah, actually not category. The source is going to be list list category. As you can see, the return type is list. Okay, list category. The destination type, let's say list category. All right, perfect. And the source is categories. Perfect. And I'm going to pass these categories to here. By the way, our source is list. Let's have a look. Get all items. Did we use list here? Oh, we use list. Okay, it's okay. Let's keep it like. Let's keep it list. Let's go to controllers. Where's my control? Okay, let's go view and we're going to change our view. Go to view because we are receiving category. We're going to change category list vModel right now. Let's add this namespace. Let's go our view imports. Perfect. Now we're going to try, is it gonna work or not? Let's put a breakpoint here and run the application and let's see the result, guys. Hopefully it is going to work. All right, I'm waiting my, all right, here we go. We have an error. Let's have a look. What is that error? category list view model doesn't contain have an ID. All right, perfect. So we don't have any ID for category list view model, so we're going to delete it. We don't have any ID section. All right. This error comes from our view model. Let's run the application one more time. Now let's have a look. Seems we have another error here. So we don't have any ID, so we need to add ID then. Okay, let's get back IDs. So let's go back our DTO, sorry, view models. Where's my model? Entity, not entity, view models. Okay, we need to add ID. All right. Let's run the application one more time. We are waiting. Perfect. Get all categories initialized. Let's go step by step. We get all categories here. Let's get into mapping section. Now we're going to check is it a collection or not. The result is true. It is a collection. Let's go into if scopes. Now we cast the request to the iCollection type. We create our destination object. We received an error while we casting our created destination object to the iCollection. Let's have a look. We try to the category vModel. Okay, I understand the error. Let's stop the application and let's get back our controller. As you can see, we try to map category to category list vModel. The destination is wrong here. Category list vModel. This is the correct one. All right, let's run the application again and continue step by step one more time. We're going to find our errors and bugs and we're going to fix them. Let's continue. Okay, this is S collection true. We cast source list, created destination object, and we cast destination list to the iCollection. Now we found our entity properties. Let's have a look. This is ID and name. Out properties, ID and name. Perfect. Now we're going to match them all. Destination object has been created. As you can see, category list view model has been created. Now we're going to add property value to this object and we're going to add this object to the destination list. Let's continue. First entity is ID. Okay, we're going to check. As you can see, property ID has been selected. This property located both entity in and entity out. Okay, it means we have this ID property both source list and destination list. Okay, if it's not null, which is not, we're going to get the value. The value is 1, the ID 1. So we're going to set this value to the entity out object. Perfect. Let's have a look at entity out. Let me have a look. Can we see? Okay, let's have a look. Destination object. As you can see, we put ID as 1. Let's continue with the next property. Now it comes to name property. We're going to check and name has located both entities. We're going to get the value construction. We're going to set entity out. Let's have a look. The name has been set to destination out object. Now all we need to do is add this object to our destination list. Here we go. destination list is filled. Count 1. There is one object in our destination list, but this destination list still iCollection format. Now we're going to cast it to the destination. Perfect. It's completed. Now we're going to return this mapped category list. Let's continue. Here we go. We get our result in our hands right now. Alright guys, hopefully you understand how we are creating mappings. This I choose to start with category because it is simple and basic entity to show you how it's gonna work. But when it comes to the products, we're going to get a lot of properties to work with, and I'm going to use one more time breakpoint when we come to product section. Okay, let's continue with the category first. Let's finish all categories for create and update. Then we will move on with the other properties. Okay, let's remove the breakpoint and let's start with create category, right? So let's change create. Is that category? What is the name of our V model? Category create V model. Create V model. Perfect. But our repository wants us to give a category. So we need to use mapping section here, category. But this time we need to add another mapper for add category create vModel create mapper. Let's add to our parameter. Perfect. Create mapper dot use map section. So the source is category create vModel. Category create vModel, and the destination is category. All right, and the source is request. Perfect. Now I'm going to give this category here. All right, let's try this one as well and see is it going to work or not. Well guys, I'm going to create a new category using new mapping methods, but this time I'm not gonna use breakpoint effectively because we need save some time. Let's say electronics. Alright, let's create it. Here we go. F10. Now we supposed to have a category here. So here we go. We have our category name here. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Here we go. We have electronics here. Perfect. It is working. Our mapping class is working. Let's continue with the update. And now I'm going to copy from here and paste here. Okay. Let's add another category. Update vModel. Let's say update mapper. Let's add it to our constructor. Yeah, perfect. Let's say update mapper, and let's change category update vModel. Perfect. All right, let's give this category to our update item. So what is the problem? Yeah, we need to change this one as well. Category update vModel, category request. Perfect. All done. We are finalized our categories section for mapping. Alright guys, I'm going to finish this lesson here. Next lesson, I'm going to let me have a look. Should I change my services? Alright, normally we add our mappings here, controller, but this is not the best practice. I'm gonna move these categories and mappings to the service section. We're going to do a refactoring. Alright, I'm going to finish this lesson here. See you on next lesson. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.